Good day, everyone. I'm Cadeliña, and for today, I'm going to discuss the ADDIE model. Now, let's talk about the ADDIE model. So, the ADDIE instructional design model is the most common instrument used by instructional designers. So, it is a model that teach step by step the whole process of any training program. So, it is used in the framework to create a new idea. So ADDIE was developed at Florida State University in 1975. So ADDIE was selected by the Armed Services as the primary means for developing training. So the United States military faced the need to train large numbers of people to perform the complex technical task. At the time, in terms ADDIE was not used, but rather SAT, system approach to training. So and later ISD, which is Instructional System Development. As general rule, the military used SAT while their civilians counterparts began using ISD. So the D in ISD first stood for development, but now normally means design. So, what is ADDIE? So, ADDIE is used by training developers and instructional designers for creating courses that can cater for the needs of the learners. It is an instructional system design or ISD framework which consists of five phases, which also make up the name ADDIE. So, A for analysis, D for design, D for development, I for implementation, and E for evaluation. So ADDIE is a quite widely used and many other ISD models have been derived from ADDIE. So again, here the ADDIE model consists of five stages. Number one, the first phase is the analysis, second is the design, third is the development, fourth is the implementation, and fifth is the evaluation. Now let's go to the first phase. So, which is the analysis? Analysis, as the name suggests, the analysis stage is meant to analyze the needs of the audience and to determine what might be the best way to cater for the needs of the learners. The instructional needs and desired result are identified during this stage. So, here in this stage, uh, you have to identify the problem, the audience, the learning goals, and the time needed for the development process. You have also should also have to figure out what you want to learn, what you want your learners to learn, and how will you define instructional goals and learning objectives. And also, this step will provide you with a blueprint for the whole identification process and guide you in the following phases. And also, you have to make sure that you establish audience, goal, objectives, identify content, identify environment and delivery, instructional strategies, assessment strategies, formative evaluation, and constraint. So the next phase is the design. So the design stage is meant for drafting an outline for the content and how it will be designed. So this includes converting the learning goals into a clear learning objectives, content planning to sketch out storyboards and wireframes, and a script written for the development of videos and voiceover. So in design, you have to state the goal of the instruction in general terms, state the specific learning objectives for the students, state the content that will be used, documents, PowerPoints, and state the instructional strategies, state the assessment strategies, and also due dates established. Now, the third phase is development. So, here the outline created during the design stage is used to develop a content during the development stage. During this stage, the assessment tools is also created to evaluate the content later. So, the storyboard and wireframes created in the previous step are used for the development of content, and videos and voiceovers are recorded and edited. So, in development, a process of producing materials needed to meet the goals and objectives. The delivery point should be chosen video, PowerPoints, note, lecture, and lecture, while it also previous material should be a review, not a repeat of information, and make the instructional coursework. Now, the fourth phase is implementation. So, here, this is the stage when the final product is presented to the intended audience, such as in classroom. So, the implementation phase might include a pilot test or an actual launch of the final product. So in implementation, it focuses on developing procedures for training facilitators and learners. So the facilitators training should cover the course's curriculum, learning outcomes, method of delivery, and testing procedures. So students' preparation includes training the use of new software and hardware, and also registration. So when it comes to preparation of learning materials, they can use the books, tools, software is conducted and website tested. And now let's go to evaluation. So the evaluation stage assesses if the desired outcome were achieved and if the problem that was to be addressed was resolved. So this is the final stage or phase. The evaluation in the ADDIE model can be formative and summative. The former is used for assessment throughout the ADDIE process, whereas the latter is used at the end to determine if the desired result were achieved. Now, ongoing throughout the design process, evaluation has two parts. The first one is a formative evaluation, which is a measurement of the learning outcomes during the instruction process. So, informative evaluation, it determines the effectiveness of each stages, used to monitor students' learning, and also it used throughout all other stages. The next one is the summative evaluation, which is a measurement of the learning outcomes after instruction. So, in summative evaluation, it is a process of gathering data following information in order to determine the effectiveness of the goal. Now let's look at this picture. So this is how the ADAM model being visualized. So again, the first phase is analyze, or which is the analysis phase. So again, in analysis phase, it identifies the instructional problem, define the learning characteristic, set instructional goals, and establish a learning objectives. So the findings from analysis phase provide a foundation for the design phase. So understanding the audience, goals, and constraint guides the creation of instructional strategies and contents. The next phase is the design phase. So it outlines the overall plan for the instructional materials, including the specific learning objectives, content structure, instructional strategies, and assessment method. So the detailed plan from the design phase directs the development phase. Okay, the it clear goals is to and I mean clear goals and structured content ensure that the materials produced align with its desired outcomes and learning needs that also identified during the analysis phase. And the third one is the develop, or which is the development phase. So it creates the instructional materials and resources based on the design specifications. So the materials developed must adhere to the blueprint established in the design phase. So this ensures that the instructional strategies and assessments are effectively implemented and meet the identified goals and objectives. The fourth one is the implement or the implementation phase. So in this phase, it delivers the instructional materials to learners and provide the training for facilitators. So successful implementation relies on well-developed materials and and a thorough understanding of the content and instructional strategies designed in the previous phases, which is the development, design, and the analysis. So in implementation phase, it also the facilitators and the learners training ensures that the delivery methods are executed or as I mean the delivery methods are executed as planned. And lastly, the last phase, which is the evaluate or evaluation. So here it assesses the effectiveness of the instructional materials and the overall training program. So evaluation is both formative, which is ongoing, and summative, which is final. Informative evaluation occurs throughout all phases to ensure that each step meets the desired standards and objectives. While in summative evaluation, it assesses the overall success and impact of the instructional program, providing insights and data that feed back into analysis phase for continuous improvement. So overall, the ADDIE model helps the instructional designer um, with a step-by-step guiding for building effective training and performance support tools. So now the question is, how does the ADDIE model compares to other instructional design? I mean, uh, how does the ADDIE model compare to other instructional design models, and in what scenarios might the another models be more appropriate? The next question is, how can instructional designers ensure that their training programs are inclusive and accessible to all learners using the ADDIE model? I think I think that is for today, guys. So thank you for